I hope that you're all doing well, and welcome to this week's live lesson. So, what we're going to do this week is we're going to work on ideas, task 2 ideas. Before we get into that, I just want to, there's a lot of new members that have come in the last week, so I just want to start off by explaining what these live lessons are. If you've been here for a while and this is boring, I'm sorry, but it's just to make everything much easier for the new members. And make our jobs easier as well. So we're going to do the live lesson, and we do these live lessons every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And you have a choice of joining us live or watching the replay. The replays immediately are stored here for you, and all of the replays from every live lesson we've ever done are also stored in here. They are organized in 2 ways. So if you want to go and check the old live lessons, there's 2 ways that you can do that. You can check the. Well, let me show you actually. Let me show you inside the group. So I'll share my screen with you. Okay, so we're inside the group. So there's 2 ways that you can access the old live lessons: video tab or the files tab. So if we go into the videos tab, and here are all the old live lessons. There's a lot of them. First of all, do not think that you have to look at all of these. This is not the course. We're going to talk about more about that in a minute. So the great thing about the videos tab is you can see them all and you can go in and look pretty quickly, but they're not labeled. So if you want to find stuff quickly, go to the files, and normally here's all the files that have been in the group. But if you go to your live lessons, click on your live lessons, and let's say you want help with main body paragraphs. So just put Control F, main body paragraphs, and we have 1 old lesson there with 2 old live lessons. So we have 2 there, so it's pretty easy to figure out what you're doing and to find things. But the old live lessons and these live lessons that we do once a week here, think of them like vitamins. All right, so I take vitamins every morning to keep me healthy, because to keep my immune system going, so I don't get sick and stuff like that. I just take like 1 vitamin in the morning to keep me healthy. I'm taking vitamin D now because it's winter time here and we don't get any sunshine and I never go outside, so that's important too. But if that doesn't, just because I take vitamins doesn't mean that I stop eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe I should, with being a little bit too heavy. But basically, these live lessons are like vitamins. But your food, the essential stuff that you need to do, is in the course. So do not. Lots of new members when they come in here, what they do is they get confused between all the saved live lessons and the course. The course is all you need. Everything you need is in the course. You could do all of the things in the course and never look at any live lessons, and you would do very, very well. The lessons that we have in here, in the live lessons, are supplemental. So you do not need to see all of them. It's just if you need a little bit of extra help in a certain area. So today we're giving you a little bit of extra help with ideas. So if ideas are your problem, then this is going to be great for you. But if you have no problem with ideas, but you need help with true, false, not given questions, there's an old live lesson that you can go and watch that. So if that's confusing or you have any questions about that, feel free to let us know. I know what it's like when you go and you join a new course, or like I was in a hotel recently. And I looked so stupid because I didn't know anything, and I was like, where's the toilet and where's this and where's that? And I was thinking to myself, like, this might be how a new student feels when they join the course. It's like the people working at the hotel were like, oh, just go down there and it's just there. They know everything. Kind of like we know everything about this group. But when you're brand new, it's a little bit confusing and everything. But we're here to help you with anything you need. Okay, so let me just check that we are live, and then we can get going. Apologies for people who know all of that and everything. It just makes our lives easier and your lives easier if we can do that. So as always, I just check my phone just to make sure that we are live and everything is working okay. Yep. I just check that we are live, and then okay, good. So hello to all the people saying hello: Persusul, Nirshan, Andrea, Jewel. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing any of your names. I know Ahmed and somebody who has is it a Russian name? I can't read Russian, or the crazy writing. Well, we think it's crazy. You probably think our writing is crazy. Okay, so what are we going to do? So the most popular choice this week was for me to do like a demo lesson on ideas. So what I've done is I've gone and found the latest 10 questions that were asked on the task 2 paper reported by other students. So I've looked at them all, and they seem pretty accurately reported. Students don't always report them properly, but anyway. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the first one, and what I'm going to do with the first one is maybe the first 1 or 2, and I'm going to tell you how I would think about the ideas and how I would process the information. If you're new to the course and you haven't looked at all of the stuff in the course on idea development, some of this might be a little bit complex or a little bit new to you. Don't worry about that. If I mention stuff that assume that you know about it. And then what I'm going to do is I have about 7 or 8 more, and I'm going to take some of them and I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to get your ideas, and I'm going to critique your ideas. Critique is a little bit different from criticize. Criticize is just like negative. I'm going to critique them. Critique means like what's good about them, how can we improve some of them, so that you know the difference between good and bad ideas. Good and bad, meaning like that. And yeah, and then at the end, I'm going to give you a challenge. So I've been talking for 7 minutes, guys, so let's just get into it. I'm sorry for wasting your time. There's a lot of stuff to get through today. Okay, so let me share my screen with you again. Okay, so I've just got a lot of different questions here. Also, guys, if you have any questions yourselves, I'll try and do a little Q&A at the end, so should be fine. Alright, so first question is, some people think that not all criminals should be kept in prison. Some criminals should do unpaid work to help other people in the community. Alright, so do you agree or disagree? So what I have to do here, let me enlarge that a little bit. Let's get it up to 30. What I have to do here is understand the question first. So there's 2 sentences, but it's not a discussion question. It's just an opinion question. Do you agree? So first of all, I have to understand what this means. Some people think that not all criminals should be kept in prison. Okay. Some criminals should do unpaid work to help other people in the community. Okay, so it's about should all criminals be locked up, or should they help people and do unpaid work? It's a pretty standard question. It's not going to shock anyone, I don't think. But what we have to do is we have to, first of all, take a side. So what I do here is I have to think, why would people agree and why would people disagree? Not because I'm going to discuss both sides, but just because I want to think of some ideas for both sides so that I can pick the ones that are most relevant. So let's say I agree. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to just ask myself a simple question. Why would some people agree with this? Okay, so my first idea would be non-serious crimes or non-violent or sexual crimes. Basically, if the crime isn't very serious, or it's not violent, or it's not sexual, or something like that, then people don't really need to be locked up. Because they're not protecting. You don't need to protect the public from them. Other reasons why people would agree is benefit the victims. Pretty standard. If you're going to lock someone up, you may as well get instead of locking someone up, you may as well get them to benefit society in some way and repay their debt to society. So repay their debt to society. Now, how am I thinking about these? Well, I'm thinking about these just off the top of my head. I'm not brainstorming. I'm not asking myself questions. I'm not, doing who, what, why, where, how. I'm not thinking of examples. I'm just using my own experience and what I think about this. I'm not overcomplicating it. Sometimes the techniques that people teach you for idea generation can get in the way of you actually just thinking about it. If you just think about it in this way, just asking yourself simple questions, then you're removing any obstacles to you, just thinking freely about it. And these are very, very, very obvious reasons. And I think maybe you disagree with me, and you think that these would be difficult for you to think about. But I think that most people would be able to think about this. Disagree. Why would someone disagree with that? It could be a danger to the public. Okay, so what I've done there is I just thought, imagine two people arguing about this. Imagine there was like a debate about this. What would the other side say? And I think the first thing the other side would say is, no, you have to keep criminals locked up to protect the public from them. Even if it's not a serious crime, it could be a minor crime like theft, you still need to protect the public. Punishment. So the rationale of many people is we're not interested in rehabilitating criminals. We're not interested in getting any benefit from them. We're just interested in punishing them, like an eye for an eye, basically. A lot of people think that way. So punishment, the danger to the public. Any other idea I can think of? I suppose an argument could be made for rehabilitation. Because some people think that you should keep them in prison just to punish them, just throw away the key, and never don't open the cell until it's time for them to get out. But other people would say that you have to treat them in prison, so keep them in prison so that you can treat them, give them counselling, give them education, things like that. So what I would do here is I only need two ideas, and I only need to agree with one side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disagree. So I'm going to just delete all them. Okay, don't need them. I thought about them, but I don't need them. And then I'm going to disagree. Why am I going to disagree? Not because I feel, actually, personally, I would agree. But I just feel that I could develop these answers better. And so I'm going to pick this side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this one because I can't really think of an example for that one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take these two. So I disagree to keep them away from the public, to protect the public, and also keep them in prison so that you can rehabilitate them, treat them, and prevent further crime in the future. All right, guys. So that was basically me thinking about that. And I just didn't overcomplicate it. I didn't brainstorm. I didn't ask myself lots of questions. I didn't think of examples. I just thought, what would people say about this? If there was someone arguing with me, what would they say about this side? And that makes it pretty easy to understand. So, okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you one more, and then we're going to do it together. All right. So the next one is a pretty long question. I think this is probably being a little bit misreported by the student, but anyway. Many parents believe that children should play team sports like football, basketball, and so on, instead of individual sports such as swimming or running during the school scheduled timetable. Do you agree or disagree with the above? All right. The first thing I need to do is take the time to understand this, because what a lot of students do is they just see team sports. So they just look at this, team sports. How can I highlight this? This is different from Microsoft Word. Text color. Let's highlight. So a lot of people see team sports and individual sports, and what they will do there is they'll just talk generally about everything they know about team sports and everything they know about individual sports. And what they'll do is they'll turn an opinion essay into a discussion essay, and they won't actually take a position on this. So what we need to do is we need to understand this position first. What is the position of this background sentence? Many parents believe that children should play team sports instead of. Okay, so this is basically a person saying, I think children should play team sports and they shouldn't play individual sports during school. So do I agree with that or do I disagree with that? Okay, so agree. And you don't have to do it in this way. You don't have to think of lots of reasons for agree and lots of reasons for disagree. If you can think of two really simple reasons for either and you're happy with them, just go with that. But I'm doing this for demonstration purposes. So let me show you how I would think about this. All right. So what I'm going to do here is, first of all, agree. And I'm going to ask myself, why would a parent think that? So I'm going to think about from my own personal standpoint. I'm a father. I'm married to my wife. We're both parents. Why would we say that? Or why would other parents say that? So that's what I'm going to think about. And that's going to help me generate ideas. And the first idea I think of would be teamwork. All right. So it teaches a very, very important skill of working together with other people, teamwork. Other reasons why it would be friendship. All right, so people are more likely to develop lasting, valuable friendships if they're on a team together, they're working together. So it's related to teamwork, but it's a little bit different. So teamwork is basically, can you work together on the field? Friendship would be more, developing relations off the field because you're working together. Yeah, so I'm going to stick with those two. Disagree. Let me see. Why would someone disagree with that? So why would somebody say, no, I don't want my child playing team sports. I want my child to work on just individual sports. Why would a parent say that? I think they could talk about discipline. So it's difficult getting up every morning, and let's say you're a swimmer, getting up every morning, going to the swimming pool by yourself, and just getting there and doing it by yourself with nobody watching. Arguably, it takes more discipline and more motivation to do these individual sports than it does to team sports. There's an argument that that's not the case, but let's just keep it simple. So disagree, discipline, also self-reliance. So it teaches you to rely on yourself. You're not one of these people who, and I'm not criticizing these type of people, but there are people in the world who when they have a problem, they will automatically try to find somebody to help them with it. And then there are other people on the other end of the scale who, when they have a problem, they will not ask anybody. They will just fix it themselves. So self-reliance, that's a lot of what teaches that. So it's a lot to do with social skills and things like that. There are other reasons. There are 20 reasons for agree. There are 20 reasons for disagree. But those are the two reasons I would think about, because they're easy to explain. They're easy to use to think of examples. They're easy for the examiner to think about. So thank you for all of your ideas. That's great. And we're going to move on now to me not talking and you guys helping me out. Okay, so here is the first question that you're going to help me with. So what we're going to do with this one is it's a discuss both views question. So view 1, view 2. I want you to think of one idea for view 1 and one idea for view 2. Let's start off by a number of you are asking questions, and that's great. But let's keep the questions until the end. It's just because it disrupts the flow of the lesson if I'm answering questions, especially questions that aren't related to this. So I'll answer the questions at the end. So what I'd like you to do first, don't worry about view number 2 yet. Just view number 1. Why would somebody think about that? So give me some ideas, and then I'll critique your ideas. I'll say whether they're good, why they're good, whether they're bad, why they're bad. All right. So take a couple of minutes. Don't just say the first thing that comes into your head. Take your time. So why is it too late? The first view. Why is it too late to save the planet? Okay, so the first one, lead to deforestation. I won't be able to do every single idea, but I'll just write down as many as I can. Pollution, greenhouse effect, economic progress beyond our control. People have invented nuclear weapons. So a lot of using greenhouse effect / global warming. Already extinct. Okay, so it seems like we're getting the same ideas. So let's look at these ideas. All right. So what you're doing is, the planet is in a bad way. Some people think that it's too late to solve this issue. So why would some people think that it's too late? Lead to deforestation. So this would not be a good idea. And the reason why this would not be a good idea is it's not really. Imagine if somebody said to you, why is it too late to save the planet? And you said it leads to deforestation. So you're talking about the result rather than a reason why. So you have to be very careful with cause and effect. This is asking you what is a reason why, what is a cause? And if you answer that with an effect, what is a result, then you're not answering the question. So that would be a bad idea. Pollution. It depends how you develop this, but just saying, I think that it's too late because of pollution, that would not be a good idea because it's too vague. If you said something like, the planet has been so polluted that there's no way to actually make it better, I mean, the damage has been done, that would be a much better idea. But just saying pollution, that's so vague that it doesn't really mean anything. Pollution, it could mean what? No pollution, lots of pollution, a little bit of pollution, irreparable pollution, pollution of what? So it's just too vague. Greenhouse effect, global warming, same thing. So if your answer was, the greenhouse effect has got to a point where it doesn't matter if we reduce carbon dioxide, it doesn't matter what we do. It's sort of, we would say the horse is already bolted. The train has already left the station. It's not coming back. There's just no way to fix it. That would be pretty good. But because you just said greenhouse effect or global warming, again, that's so vague that you need to make it a little bit more specific. So, for example, you could say it is too late because the greenhouse effect cannot be reversed. All right, thank you. Cheers. The post on, sorry. So, economic progress, pretty good. Again, I would like you to be a little bit more specific. You could say something like, we cannot save the planet because it's more important to keep growing the economy or keep progressing the economy or improving the economy. Basically, the economy is more important than the planet. Many people, including Donald Trump, would think that. So again, this is pretty good. Just try and make it a little bit more specific. Beyond our control. Pretty good. Yeah. Basically, man cannot do anything about it, and we do not have the means, we do not have the control to be able to do it. People have invented nuclear weapons. That doesn't make sense at all. Your ideas need to make sense. Imagine you're having a conversation with somebody, and they say, it's not too late to save the planet. And you say, no, it is too late because people have invented nuclear weapons. What would be their response to you? Their response would be, I don't understand what you mean, or that doesn't make any sense. So maybe with this idea, you have a different, you're thinking in a different way, but you need to be more specific. Already extinct, that's an excellent idea. We can't save the planet because I think the percentage of plants and animals that are already extinct and we can't bring them back, I think it's pretty high. So that's a really good idea if you said that. Okay, so you can see mixing up cause and effect, not really thinking about the question, being too vague, your idea is not making any sense at all. Be very careful there. And thank you to all the other people who have suggested ideas. Obviously, I can't look at every single idea, guys. That's not what the lesson is about. The lesson is just demoing good and bad ideas. All right, so view number 2. So view number 2 is necessary steps should be taken to overcome this problem. why would, sorry, that's going to be very difficult to read. Let's highlight this instead. Why would somebody believe this? Okay, the necessary steps should be taken to overcome this. All right, adverse effects on plants and animals. What do you think about that, guys? Give me your ideas. So give me your ideas and then I'll write them down and then I'll critique them. If you've already thought of ideas for view number 2, or you're already... okay, so the first idea is bank of seeds. Better for next generation. So Nudie, you get the same idea. Because the damage is huge. Protect from further loss. So Paul, that's like the same as that one, so good. For next generation, good. International law. Plant more trees. Okay, so thank you guys. I'm not going to write every single one down because then it would just take too much time. But let's look at these. So why would some people think that we should save the planet? So this is answering the wrong question. Bank of seeds. Why is this answering the wrong question? Because it's asking how are we going to do it. It's not asking why. So you're answering the how, you're not answering the why. So bank of seeds and zoos would be wrong. Better for next generation? Yeah, good. Pretty obvious why we should do that. Because the damage is huge. A little bit vague. You could explain that by, I think that's related to maybe better for next generation. This would be much better if you had an explanation. Maybe I'm being too hard, but it's a little bit vague. Protect from further loss. Yeah, very good. You know, we've messed it up. We don't want to mess it up even more. International law. Yeah, if you could explain that. We shouldn't do it because all the countries in the world have signed up to agreements not to do it, and you should, you know, abide by international law. That's good. Plant more trees. Again, this is about how rather than why. So the question is asking you why. It's not asking you how. So again, be very careful that you're answering the correct question. Because we can't do it. Yeah. All right. So many people would say, you know, there's nothing we can do. But there are many things we can do. We can. There are many ways that we can actually reverse this and make it better. So if we can do it, then we should do it. Sorry, blue. Blue is good. Red is bad. So yeah. So let's look at the main reasons why people were getting this wrong. Was answering the wrong question and a little bit vague. So same mistakes again, guys. Okay. So let's do another one where you help me. I'm not going to have to do it for you. Okay, so many people think that important things in life are mostly free or can't be bought. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? So let's just to keep everything organized, don't write anything about disagree. Let's just start off with agree. Think of one idea why someone would agree with this. Okay, so happiness can't be bought. Air is free. Love can't be bought. That's very, very debatable. Maybe true love. Honesty is free. Personal feelings do not depend on money. Again, very, very debatable. Time is priceless. Very good. Health. Okay, so everyone's pretty much got the same ideas, so that's good. So you heard me laughing at some of these and going like that's debatable and whatever. That's an important point to make, because what happens is this is just a straight do you agree or disagree question. It's not a discussion question. It's not a discuss both views question. So even though there are counter arguments to every single one of these, you do not worry about the counter arguments in an agree or disagree essay, because that often confuses people, and your mind, the way you think about something, is reflected on the paper. So if you're confused about things, your writing is going to be confused. So do not worry about taking a very one-sided approach to these agree or disagree questions. So yeah, happiness can't be bought. Good. Should explain why happiness can't be bought. Air is free. Yep, it is for now. Nestle actually want to bottle it, and they would if they could. Nestle are probably the most horrible company in the world. Love can't be bought. Go to certain parts of the world and you can buy it. But anyway, love can't be bought. Yeah, right. So you'd explain why that is. Honesty is free. Yeah, honesty is free. Manners are free. Politeness is free. Personal feelings do not depend on money. Yep. Time is priceless. Absolutely. That's probably the one I would use. And health. Yeah, like if you've got pancreatic cancer, like Steve Jobs, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you're going to die if it's bad enough. So yeah, all good. So disagree. This will be interesting. I'm interested to hear these ideas for disagree. So you don't think, so let's look at the question again. Many people think that important things in life are mostly free and can't be bought. If you disagreed with this, what would you say? So give me some ideas. everything can be bought and sold. We need to cover our basic necessities. Yeah, basic needs. Most things cost money. Education. Yeah, most countries' education is not free. It's free here. Strange that it's free in the rich countries, but not in the other countries. Okay, so education, medical, luxuries, basically all the same premise. Money talks. Money cannot be earned free. Okay, so basically all the same thing. So let's look at this. Everything can be bought and sold. That would be pretty good, but you need to prove that. So you can't just say everything can be bought and sold. You would need to explain that properly. So that's fine to say that. That's pretty good. But you need to say, you can buy whatever it needs to be. We need to cover our basic necessities. Yeah, absolutely. Like these people, people that say all you need is love. Love is not going to feed you. Love is not going to pay for your education. Love is not going to do all of these things. So it's pretty important that you need money. And most things cost money. A little bit vague, but I know what you mean. You would need to sharpen that up a little bit. You need to be more specific. So this is a little bit better by saying a little bit more specific of things like education costs money. Education makes you happy. It allows you to get a better life. Medical, nobody's happy if their loved ones are dying. So that's really important. You could also make an argument that luxuries make people happy. Some people, I'm not one of them, but they're not happy unless they're wearing Gucci and Chanel and they have a Ferrari and all of those things. But if you want to make that argument, that's fine. Money talks. I don't know what that means, and the examiner won't understand what that means. So you would need to make it a little bit more specific, or be very clear in what you mean. I think what you mean is money allows, opens doors for you, provides opportunity. Those kind of things. Money can't be earned free. So this wouldn't be good because it just doesn't make any sense. So remember that in writing, the examiner can't ask you, the reader can't ask you any questions, so they can't ask you, what do you mean by that? So if it's not clear what it means, then it's not a good idea. The best idea I can think of is something that I always talk about. Is the reason why I like money is free freedom. It's freedom. It gives you the freedom to do whatever you want. You can live in any country you want. You can do whatever you want, buy whatever you want. It's just freedom to do whatever you want. So I think that would be a good idea also. That's the idea I always use when I'm talking about money. Okay guys, pretty good. Much better than I thought. So let's do one more at least, and then I'm going to get used to do it. Alright, so many people complain about commercial advertisements and their influence on children. Should it be controlled by the government? What are the possible effects on children? Okay, so what you need to do, understand this, and answer this question. So what this question first, sorry, I can't get used to this. Should it be controlled by the government? Okay, so one idea for that. So I think I'll make this the last one we do together, and then I'm going to give you a task, and then I'm going to answer any questions if you have. Okay, so child development. Raj, yours is basically child development as well, because it sometimes contains inappropriate content. Okay. Yeah, so all of you have said yes, basically. So thank you to Constanza for providing. Okay, good. I think basically it's the same ideas, just with different flavors. Alright, so many people complain about commercial advertisements and their influence on children. Should it be controlled by the government? Right, so this is really a why question. Why should it be controlled by the government? Should it be controlled by the government? So that you have two options. Yes, because of this, or no, because of this. Alright, so government has power to make it. I don't think that, maybe you could disagree with me, but I don't think that this is a good one. Because basically just, you're saying, I think they should because they can. It's basically, it's like if I ask and I'm not comparing you to a 3-year-old, I'm just giving you an analogy. Like asking my 3-year-old and he said, I want ice cream. Why do you want ice cream? Because I do, because I like it, or because it's there. It's just not a specific enough reason. And really you're needing to think of a reason why, and there are lots of reasons why. Yes, that would be a good idea. So lots of you had many ideas related to it's damaging children, or it's bad for child development, or things like that. So that's good. They tell lies. Absolutely. If you allow companies, if you don't control companies, Blue, they will tell lies. For example, in Vietnam, they tell people that you should not breastfeed children, and breastfeeding babies is not good. Who do you think spread that rumor? The baby milk companies. So the powdered milk companies have told a lot of people in Vietnam that it's not healthy to breastfeed your child. It's much healthier to use powdered milk. Why do you think they do that? So it's pretty obvious. Inappropriate content. Yeah. So need to control it because a lot of advertisers use sex to sell things, and they use, not sex as in people having sex, but like they use sexual imagery and things like that to make things more attractive to people. So it's maybe not best to show very, very sexy things on screen to children. Encourages children to buy. Yeah. The aim of advertising is to get people to buy stuff. It's not very responsible to advertise to children because children don't have any money. Puts pressure on parents. No, parents' responsibility. Yeah, that's a really good idea because it's easy to explain that. It doesn't matter what your child watches. If you talk to your child and you actually spend time with your child and you actually educate them about the world, then it doesn't matter what they watch. You have a pretty weak child if they watch one advert and then they lose their minds. It's like kind of like the video game arguments. People think that children go out and murder people because they watch one video game. Probably because they're bad parents. so good. Those are pretty good ideas. Well done. So the second question, what are the possible effects on children? So you would have to be careful. So I've just noticed this. I didn't look at these questions. The reason why I didn't look at them is because I didn't want to have prepared answers, and I wanted to do them as naturally as possible. So you'd need to be very careful that your answers here are not the same as the answers here. So you couldn't say yes because it encourages children to buy, and then you go on to talk about encouraging children to buy. That's the same idea. So that would be repetition. So it would be good to have a very clear idea for this one, and then a different idea for this one. All right, so be careful with those questions. All right, so what are the effects on children? Bad behavior. Parental lock on TV. Spending money. Cause death. Wow. Okay. Less intelligent. Misinformation. Okay, good. So pretty much the same ideas going on. So possible bad effects, bad behavior. Yeah. So imagine an advert where you had two little boys fighting over a toy or something like that, or you had advertising people drinking alcohol, or people being disrespectful to women, or things like that. Parental lock on TV. So this would be a bad idea because you're answering the wrong question. So the question that you're answering here is, how do we prevent this from happening? The question doesn't ask you, how do we prevent this? So you are using an idea that is not related to the question. So be very careful. Spending money, yep. There's lots of stories about children, especially with apps and things like that. Cause death. I don't really know how an advert would cause death. I suppose if they show, violence or something like that. Adverts, are we specifically talking about adverts? Yeah. I mean, that might be difficult to explain. It might be definitely difficult to think of an example. Maybe where you're from, adverts have caused people to die. I can't think of any adverts that have led to death. But if you can, then that's fine. So I'm going to leave that one. Less intelligent, absolutely. The example that I used is in Vietnam. There's all these advertisements from powdered milk companies that breastfeeding is wrong and breastfeeding leads to problems with your baby. That's making you less intelligent because it's not true. And if you go to another country and you believe that, and let's say you're a doctor, let's say you're a medical student and you grow up in Vietnam and you've been told by milk companies that breast milk is bad, and you go to a university in London and you tell people that, they're going to think that you're not so bright because you believe that. But it's not your fault because it's kind of propaganda from these companies. Misinformation. So this is related to this. This one is the cause, but the question is asking you about the effect. So the cause is misinformation, but what is the effect? The effect would be that people become less intelligent, that people become less informed. So be careful with, again, cause and effect. And that's something that has been coming up a lot. And by the way, I'm not picking on Vietnamese people. It's just I lived there for a long time. My wife is Vietnamese, and I spent a lot of time in maternity wards and baby hospitals and stuff, and I couldn't believe the bullshit that people could get away with advertising over there. It was pretty shocking. Also, IELTS advertising in Vietnam. I guarantee in 2 weeks you'll get a band 9. Bullshit. So be very careful with advertising. Basically, in Western countries, you're not allowed to say things that aren't true in advertising. So telling people that you will guarantee them a band 9 in 2 weeks, in the UK, it's illegal to tell people that. In places like the Philippines, you're allowed to call your whole school Niner, which would be illegal here. So that's just some information about IELTS. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 questions, and I want your task is to think of ideas. So I will post this video immediately, so you don't have to write the questions down. You can just go and look at the recorded version of this, and you can just take a screenshot or whatever. So don't worry about writing this down, but think of ideas, just main ideas for this, and this one, main ideas for this. Okay. Don't worry about writing it down. Just the recording of this will immediately be available in the group here, so you can go and look at them after. So one idea for this question, one idea for this question, and 2 ideas either for agree or 2 ideas for disagree. Make it clear if it's agree or make it clear if it's disagree. And then what I'll do is I will on Friday we have a feedback session, so I will show the questions again, these 2 homework task questions. I'll look at lots and lots of different ideas, talk about the good ones, talk about the bad ones. Not bad, but just could be improved a little bit, and that's what I'll do. So guys, any questions? Anything that I can help you with? I'm going to take just rapid fire, anything that I can help you with. Let me know, either related to main ideas or anything at all. It's just a good opportunity for me to answer any of your questions. Rustam, very productive lesson. Glad you liked it. I like these kind of collaborative live lessons. They're not so good for the people watching, but I try and make them so that even if people watch them after, they'll still learn from them. Lubes, thank you. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing your names. I'm really sorry. So thanks. Constanza, do we have to develop the ideas? I mean, no. The homework task is just ideas. Just give me ideas. Focus on that. Focus on one thing at a time. So, Ahmed, thank you. Ahmed, Amal, thank you. Olga, thank you. Bushril, thank you. Paul, can I get a schedule of the live lessons? Yeah, above the photo at the top of the group shows exactly what we're doing each day. So that shows you what we're doing. Can we use contractions, short forms? No. Only for general training, task 1, informal letters. For everything else, no. Is IELTS general training and academic task 2 the same? Yes, it is. Yeah, exactly the same. Nikita, hello Chris, as next month I have my IELTS 7 time, and every time I got 6.5 I need a 7, but I'm getting depressed and I can't think. Oh. Okay, so Nikita, what you do is you're feeling depressed, you're feeling like you can't do it, take 24 hours to completely disengage from IELTS, to completely disengage, get drunk, eat ice cream, watch a movie, go for a walk, talk to your boyfriend, talk to your girlfriend, whatever it is, to completely disengage for 1 day, 2 days, whatever. Because if you're feeling depressed and you're feeling like you can't do it, doing more work is going to make it even worse. So first of all, just disengage and don't worry about it. Number 2, whenever you have your little, pity party and you feel sorry for yourself, you're going to feel better. Then what you need to do is sit down and plan out your plan of attack, what you are going to do. So sit down with a piece of paper, list all of the things that you need to do, put those in a calendar, and every day just consistently work through them. If you just say, I'm depressed, I don't know what to do, I give up, and you give up, you are 100% guaranteeing that you're going to fail. I understand what this is like. I run a really, really complex, difficult business. Every single day of my life, I come up with stuff that would make most people really, really depressed and give up. And the reason why I'm successful is I don't give up. I just, if I'm feeling really bad, I go and, go for a walk or whatever, and then I sit down and I just work through it step by step by step. And that's what you need to do, Nikita. And if you need any other help, Nikita, email me, tell me your specific problems, and we are here for you. We'll do everything we can to help you. Paul, can we get letters at task 1 for academic or only graph? Paul, task 1 academic is going to be a data source of some point, so bar chart, pie chart, table, line graph, or it could be a process, or it could be a map, but never a letter for that. Should we post ideas below this video? Yeah, do that. Yumiko, thank you very much. Hope everything's good in Japan. I'd love to go to Japan. It's like one of the countries that I want to visit the most. But there are lots of countries that I want to visit, but Japan just seems like a pretty cool place. By the way, I'm talking about Japan because Yumiko, I'm assuming that you are Japanese. Nurishan, I've read about your strategies to use speaking part 2. The article says that we don't need to talk about the questions in the cue card. Could you tell me more detail, please? Nurishan, watch the video. There's a full video inside the speaking course all about that, and I will tell you in much more detail than a 1-minute talk about that. Ruben, I had to stop doing IELTS for a while because I didn't get the score I required, and I was very stressed out, but I feel much better now. I'm on track with it. Good, Ruben. Yeah, I mean, everybody has these things. The main difference between successful people and people who and I'm not talking about IELTS, I'm talking about life in general, is it's how you react to Muhammad Ali.